She is a registered dietitian and the founder of Food Jonesy. Yeah, pronounce that thing right. I got you. Known for her expertise in personalized nutrition and her advocacy for the inclusion of cultural foods. Charmaine has been a leader in challenging stereotypes and fostering diversity. This session is made possible through an independent grant from Merck and Company. I said that right? From Merck and Company Incorporated. Y'all gonna hook me up with a scholarship, right? My bad. Never too old to go back. You know what I mean? Please join us one more again. Round of applause. Make some noise for the lovely ladies, Miss Corinne L. Corbett and Miss Charmaine Jones.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, we are going to expand the conversation beyond cancer to include all chronic diseases and preventing them. Right, y'all? Because we want to make sure that we are healthy, prevent them, and even if we get cancer, we don't want it to come back, right? Is that right, y'all? Can I get an amen? Right. Do we have any cancer survivors in the audience? Now, we know, most of us know when we go to the doctor what we're going to the doctor for. But when we go to a nutritionist or a dietitian, we don't know what kind to go to. So let's start. Charmaine, can you tell us the different kinds of nutritionists and dietitians there are and what we're looking for?
Yes. Hi. Okay. Hi. Again, my name is Charmaine Jones. Um, there are several different nutrition professionals out there, right? So you may heard of a nutritionist, a wellness coach, a health coach. Sometimes your trainer at the gym may say he or she is a nutritionist. So a nutritionist could be anyone. They can be self proclaim that they are a nutritionist because they received some type of certification, they got some background in nutrition, just general nutrition, and they know the common knowledge. But a registered dietitian is a medical nutrition expert that can actually help and support you during your when you have a chronic disease. And a chronic disease could be diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, high cholesterol, cancer, kidney disease, all of that. A dietitian has medical nutrition therapy practice. That means we can support you medically when it comes to addressing your nutrition issues. So you don't want to always go to a regular nutritionist. A nutritionist, you can go to them for general health information. But when you are suffering or you have been diagnosed with a chronic disease, you should always um, go to a registered dietitian.
All right.
Mhm.
So uh, we talked about this. And so one of the things you said was like a registered dietitian gets medical nutrition, gives medical nutrition therapy. What is that?
So, medical nutrition therapy, as I stated, is a medical nutrition therapy is a registered dietitian who provide you with medical nutrition support. So they customize your meal plans based on what you are diagnosed with. So medical nutrition therapy is customized, is not a cookie cutter. So when someone come to me and say, "Hey, I've been diagnosed with diabetes," I cannot give that person a general diabetic diet. I have to customize it because everyone is different. So medical nutrition therapy is a practice that is one, clinical based, always evidence based, and two, is customizable. Most nutritionists or someone who is not a registered dietitian will not give you something that is customized or take in consideration of many different medical issues that may be going on with you. They will give you something that is general but not customizable. And that's the difference between a registered dietitian and a nutritionist.
So how do you find a good one?
So, how do you find a good one? Well, a registered dietitian, it depends on what you're looking for, right? One, and I was telling Corinne, most of us, we say we just we want our whole health team to be black, right? But when you are seeking any type of medical provider, you want that person to be someone that you can be relatable to. Having someone that is cultural competent, which means that can relate to your needs, which means someone that can understand what you're going through, your lifestyle. You want someone can really take all of you into into a medical treatment. And I was telling Corinne, just because someone black doesn't mean they relate to you, right? Because there are so many black providers, black and brown providers, that may not specialize in the field that you need or may not be community based. Community based means that they can resonate with disadvantage or people who come from backgrounds that are not as affluent. So be very picky in choosing your medical provider and a registered dietitian as well.
So
Thank you. Thank you. I got you.
so for example, um, can you ask for a consultation? Do you have to just pick somebody out of a book? How do you do this? Do you say, can we meet one on one? Do you ask questions? What do you do?
So yeah, you definitely want to ask for a consultation. It's okay to say, "Hey, can I get a 5 minute consultation with you?" Because your health matters. You don't want to just go into someone's office and they just give you a meal plan or give you some type of treatment. You want to have a relationship with that person. So it is okay to ask for a 3 to 5 minute consultation. Most practice providers, they may be really busy and they may just like, okay, I can give like her 5 or 10 minutes to talk to. But you really want to have those questions at hand. You want to say, hey, what are your specialties? Have you ever worked with do you have a diverse clientele? Do you understand my need as a black or brown person or as any person? Do you have someone that also specializes in this field? Because there are some people that come to my office and I don't specialize in eating disorder, but because they see me as a black person, they may say, oh, I want to work with you. But when I actually talk to them and say, oh, I don't specialize in eating disorders, they get really disappointed because they thinking, oh, she's black, she can help me. So you really have to have those conversations.
Yeah, I think that's important. You got to ask the questions,
Mhm.
and if that person doesn't make you feel comfortable, or they are asking, or they they're talking to you in a way that makes you
Yeah.
feel
And
off,
and a lot of people
move on.
yes.
It's okay to move on.
Yep.
And if the second person makes you feel off, move on.
Yes.
Now, insurance is funny. And if your insurance does not cover it, what else can you do?
Yeah. So
Because this
just
is a real thing now. Insurance doesn't cover everything. So what are the options here?
and just to piggyback a little bit before about giving you tips about insurance, a lot of people look at registered dietitians as food police. And some people may think that when you go into a registered dietitian office, you're scared to open up about your food because food is very personable. So if you feel like that dietitian is turning up their nose because you eat a certain way, move on.
Yeah.
Because we're not judgmental too. So insurance. If you don't have insurance, because some insurance does not cover a lot of medical nutrition therapy, there's a lot of free resources out there. One, USDA My Plate. That is the general most is it really hits to consumers. If you want to have simple nutrition information, USDA, My Plate, American Heart Association, the Academy of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, American Diabetes Association. All of those are really good free resources, and SNAP-Ed.
Right. So you can get started with free resources.
Yes.
There's no, so there, you can get started without, or you could go to a dietitian to get a meal plan once
Yes.
and go on your own.
Right. So if your insurance don't cover it, a lot of dietitians work in community-based organization where you can get these at this stuff for free, these resources for free. You can go to, like I said, the SNAP education program. For those who are in DC, UDC have a very robust SNAP education program, community-based programs, and you can get a free meal plan for one time, but that can get you started. And even with these free resources can get you started with meal planning, giving you those quick tips like half your plate needs to be vegetables. Um, you need to eat lean meats, a half a cup of carbs. Those are little small tips of getting you started until you can find a dietitian that is affordable or that you can relate to.
Now, a lot of times we hear that we should all go plant based. Have you heard that? We've all heard that. Why is that not a good idea?
Well, plant based, um, well, first, some people need meat in their diet, because of the iron absorption. I'm not discrediting plant based or vegan and vegetarians, but some people really do need that bioavailability of iron right then and there. When you are a plant based, when you're eating a plant based diet, you tend to have to eat a little bit more to meet those nutritional needs. And it can be costly. It can be you might have to do a little bit meal planning and prepping on your side, but most people for an example, for me, I can't do plant based because I'm a runner and I need that iron to help me get that energy I need right away versus eating like 6 and 7 cups of kale to get that iron. So some people really do need that. So if you are thinking about going plant-based, check with your doctor for once because everyone is different and work with a dietitian to help you get that meal plan so it can be customized to you.
But if you have specific chronic diseases, there may be other underlying factors that may prevent you from looking at a plant based diet
Absolutely.
individually.
Yes. So plant-based diet is a good start for prevention. So what that means is if you eat a diet that is mostly fruits and vegetables, wholesome foods, those antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that comes from that plant-based diet can help prevent, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, your cells replicating, which is cancer, kidney disease. So starting off with a good plant-based diet with lean meats though too. And meat, you can get protein from other sources like nuts and peanut butter, fish, or something like that. But starting off with a plant-based diet is a very good starting point for prevention.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So that is something to be considered. But holistically, you shy away from wholesale recommending foods across the board for everyone.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because everyone is different. I cannot tell someone's when someone come to me and say, "Hey, what should I eat?" First, I have to see your labs. If someone just tell you, "Oh, just eat fruits and vegetables," you want to run because they don't know your whole makeup. So, someone I cannot tell someone to eat raw kale if they got IBS, for an example, irritable bowel syndrome. It's a symptom that messes up with your digestive system. So when I actually speak to clients, it has to be customized. So I can't tell is dietetics, which registered dietitian practice, will never give you a cookie cutter diet. It will always be customized.
So that makes sense.
Mhm.
That makes sense. So when you hear somebody telling, um, and you also said that trainers sometimes come to you asking for meal plans.
Yes. Once, and I was telling Corinne, and I kind of giggled about it. I was like, trainers, they will call my office and say, "Hey, could you create me a meal plan?" So just one meal plan. That's all I need. I'll pay you what you want if you just give me that one meal plan. And I say, absolutely not. Because that one meal plan cannot fit everyone's needs. So he just want that one meal plan to say, this is a registered dietitian meal plan, and I'm going to sell it to you. So if I charge him $500, he's going to make probably triple selling it to you, and it won't even work for you because everyone is different. Everyone goals are different. You may want to lose weight. This person may want to build muscles. This person have diabetes. This person have high blood pressure. So the meal plan that he's trying to give to you is a cookie cutter. It doesn't fit one size fit all. So yeah, pay attention to those different types of gimmicks when people tell you, "Hey, I have this meal plan for you." Mm-mm, because you're different. You're individual.
So let's offer our audience some tips that they can walk away with today. Would
Okay.
you like that?
So one tip is, and I said it in the beginning, make half your plate fruits and vegetables. Um, start off with lean meats, half a cup of carbs. Carbs could be starchy vegetables. If you notice, I'm not telling you what type, just half a cup. Always check with your doctor if you're going to try some type of um, supplements. Stay away from fad diets because they're not sustainable. You will always be on a yo-yo. You're going to always say, I'm not going to eat meat this week, but I'm going to eat meat next week. So that's yo-yo dieting. And stay away from, getting tips from medical doctor TikTok and nurse Instagram and dietitian Facebook. Stay away from them because you never know how they got there. They don't tell you their journey of how they became this thin person or this ideal body that you think. Some of these people are eating less than 500 calories, and that is not sustainable. But they keep me with a job because they got to come to me so I can fix them up. Then they go and say, "Look at me, I'm healthy," and don't give me my test. But that's okay.
Right. So let's talk about meal planning.
Mhm.
What is the value of meal planning and how do you do it?
So meal planning is very valuable. It actually gets you prepared. It helps you stay prepared. When you go, some of you all might live busy lifestyles. You may have a busy job. So when you meal prep, and you don't need to meal prep for the whole week. 3 days of meal preps is okay. It's fine. 2 days even. So you meal prep is taking like making one meal into two or three. That's meal prepping. Staying prepared. If you know you're going to be out for a long time shopping, you should always have a fruit in your purse or some nuts or something. That is preparation because you get hungry every 3 to 4 hours, and when you skipping meals, you get even hungrier, and then Wendy's look good and McDonald's look good, and then you get mad because you off your diet. So meal planning is so important because it keeps you prepared. That is your armor when you on this wellness journey.
So also, let's talk about fresh food versus frozen and why we should not beat ourselves up for getting frozen food.
Right. So fresh fruit, fresh wholesome food is always ideal, right? But it's not always realistic for us, right? Because one, fresh wholesome foods, they go bad quickly. And if you're not someone that's in the kitchen every day cooking and you have a busy lifestyle, it goes bad, you waste money. So I always tell people the next best thing is frozen. And if you want to buy fresh to feel like you eating wholesome food, you can prep that fresh to freeze it properly, right? But frozen is the next best thing because when they actually freeze those frozen vegetables, all they doing is quick blanching it at is at its peak where the nutrients are there. So all you have to do is just kind of do like a quick steam, not overcook them to death, but just a quick steam in hot water to get that nutrients back available. So frozen is the next best thing. Then you go to can, low sodium can, no sodium can, but frozen is the next best thing.
Yeah. Um, and then eating well on a budget. How do we do that?
Eating well on a budget. So everyone think eating well on a budget is very hard, but it's not. You have to one tip I always give: shopping in season, right? Frozen vegetables are not expensive. It's the fresh vegetables, and then some of you all, like organic, because that's a good lifestyle. And it's okay to get conventional fruits and vegetables because the same vitamin C that's in that organic apple is the same vitamin C is in a conventional apple. You're just spending $1 or two more, and but that's a lifestyle. So you know the best thing is looking at the food labels and knowing that the store bought bread, the store brand is has whole grain too, just like the popular brand is. You can shop affordable and healthy. You don't have to go to Whole Foods or any other major um, chains to get to be healthy. You can go to your farmers markets. You can start growing your foods. You can go to farms. There are so many different affordable and accessible ways that you can get healthy foods.
Right.
Yes.
So we're going to open it up for questions now. Do we have someone who is going to? Yes, we have
Yeah, they'll
hands
bring
up.
the mic to you.
We got several hands up. We have several hands up. So no, this lady right here. She's the first one. She's been waiting patiently.
Good morning. Thank you
morning.
for doing this presentation. So I have a couple of comments because I am plant-based. I do meal prep. I go to farmers markets. And if you go to the farmers market, for those who get SNAP, your dollar amount doubles.
Yep.
And yes, fun fact, true fact.
Yes.
Also with regards to selecting your medical professional, I looked them up because I
Yes.
have cousins. So what I do, I look them up because I'm looking for certain things. So that's what I also look for. You are correct because if the injury is tore from the floor up, I'm out. Like
Yes.
that's it. So for me, I went plant-based because I wanted to because meat was making me tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I meal prep regularly. I do keep healthy snacks in my vehicle because I know I love snacks. I shouldn't be having snacks so much, but I'm a snack W. I love a good snack. So thank you.
But
Okay.
a good snack is good because that snack actually holds you over into that next meal. So sometimes we get hungrier because we miss that snack. And a snack could be a fruit. Don't forget your protein. That's a balanced snack. If you eat a fruit, always have a protein. So that is a good snack. A snack balances out how you eat or it keeps you full into your next meal.
Okay, from now on, one question and one comment. We got a lot of people,
Hi.
lot of hands.
Thank you for the information. It's really valuable.
Can you speak
I-
up?
Yeah, hello. Hi.
Yes.
Thank you for the information. It's really valuable. I want to know what your thoughts are on intermittent fasting.
Yes. So intermittent fasting, if it's done well, is good. However, some people don't know how to intermittent fast because they do this long period of fasting and then they go back eating the same way. That's not that's not beneficial. So when you intermittent fast, it is good, but you still have to eat every 3 to 4 hours and balance meals. So intermittent fasting has been shown to be very helpful, but if it's not done correctly, then you won't see the benefits.
I have a comment. It's Robin again. At the age of 14, there was a team of us children out of New England State that was getting radiation together at the same hospital, and the American Cancer Society approached us and asked us to work with the Food Circle. And instead, we created the food pyramid for the American Cancer Society for a guide. And since I was the oldest and the youngest was 5, and there was 10 of us children, we designed what is still published in the American Cancer Society, and we got to specify according to the different cancers that we were being treated for with radiation therapy. And we took the monies from where it's put in magazines and stuff. Instead of taking the money, we put it toward the treatment and care for the St. Jude and the Ronald McDonald House
Good.
of the country.
Hi, thank you for all the information that you're sharing. I want to ask a question. I don't know if you addressed it, but about where we get our produce from. I notice in the grocery stores when we go shopping, you said it don't matter where you go, but there are numbers on our fruits and vegetables. And so certain people say that you should buy them from certain numbers. I've noticed when I go to certain communities, they have one number, certain ingredients, and then when I go to another community, they have a different number and certain. So do you have any information that you can share with us about when we're looking at those numbers and buying our produce in the grocery stores? Can you help identify what those numbers are?
That's a good question. Yes. So when it comes to um, when USDA actually rate the food, rate your produce, they do give a certain number. When you go into the grocery store, your produce should always have something called fancy one, because that's saying that produce is the highest. Now, anything below that then is like 2 is okay. Most times you won't see 3 because that's typically not perishable it's typically not good for consumers. So they typically send that off to animal feeds or to large restaurants. But fancy, you always want to look at always try to check and get your vegetables that say fancy. That means that it's like the top is highest quality produce. So that's a very good question. If did I answer your question? So that it says fancy one. Yes.
Oh no, she's talking about. I. Oh, she's talking about the organic versus the.
Can we
Nine.
go to the next question? We
Let
can't hear.
I don't. Okay.
We have 2 minutes and 49 seconds left. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Hi there. Thank you for the information. I have a comment and a question. I just want to encourage DC residents to look at the DC's Produce Plus that just began in April. Try to utilize that if you can. And my second question, I have a family member who is interested in the keto diet. Can you describe the keto diet and talk about that, if it's a good thing to do, et cetera, et cetera?
The keto diet it's called keto because your body go under ketoacidosis, and that is when your body is making two is not your body is not breaking down carbohydrates for energy. It's breaking down proteins and fat to give your body this source of energy, actually fat. um, Ketoacidosis is when someone who is diabetic with and they are going through this highly acidic moment in their body that's causing this that can lead to being in a coma. So keto diet, I know the theory behind it, and I understand that they're saying, oh, if we break down fat, it works. But your body doesn't like to break down fat for energy. It likes to break down carbs. Is your biggest source for energy. So when that person is going through ketoacidosis, because it's a buildup of ketones, then they're putting their body through a highly acidic moment experience that can lead to a coma or death. So I don't really like the keto diet for those reasons. But if someone decides to get on a keto diet, they definitely need to be under a medical doctor supervision and dietitian.
Last question. We're 30 seconds out.
Hi, Charmaine. This was very entertaining to listen to as well as educative. My question, as we touched on cultural competency initially, looking for a medical professional, how do you normally approach clients or individuals that are very set in stone on their cultural foods, especially those with chronic illness, and especially if they live in rural areas such as places with food deserts? How do you go about that?
So it's two questions in that one. So first, being cultural competent is very important, and some dietitians are not. So at our practice, we do practice on telling people how to eat their cultural foods healthy. We don't want to be biased. We don't want to be judgmental. Culture is a part of you, so we don't take that away. But what we do is give you recommendations to make it healthy. I did write an article some years ago about my clients used to always say, I don't want to eat like white people, right? And that's most people say, I don't want to eat like white people. So, and that's true because they want to keep their cultural foods. And as a dietitian who is culturally competent, should be able to say, if you like this, I can give you this, but let me show you how to make it healthier and the portion sizes that you can still have and enjoy and still be on your be on this wellness journey. Now, working with people in a rural area, they're just being resourceful. I have to know what resources like DC SNAP programs that all of these affordable and accessible food programs that's out there, food pantries that are very good, you know. So, and then teaching them because sometimes people will go and get these foods and don't know how to prepare them. Like I seen farmers give people eggplants and this and that. And they like, what am I gonna do with this? So that is where you go and actually work with a dietitian. And I work with a team of chefs where we teach people how to take those different cultural foods and make it very healthy. I can talk. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. So thank you so much, Charmaine.
Please give a round of applause to Corinne Corbett and Charmaine Jones. And we would like to thank Merck for providing the healthy food guides that are on everyone's seats that you have.